So I want to touch on two other things. The first is AI and your thoughts on the large language models, ChatGPT. I know you've had a lot of posts, commentary saying that AI is not going to take our jobs. Uh, I'm wondering if you ever thought that it might take our jobs uh, early in the process, and how you arrived to this conclusion that, or maybe not conclusion, the speculation that, like, hey, this isn't as serious as a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that you know because we've had this kind of a conversation on this offline. So where it was just you and I, and that was early of 2023, where AI was really gaining ground. It was released in November. It was really gaining ground in like towards the end of 2022, and then in 2023, I was like, oh my gosh, it's really taking off. I definitely had this I don't know if it's an existential crisis. That is not the word to use, but like I would compare it to that. Basically, like I there was so much I didn't know and so many things I was seeing online. And my gut reaction was like, oh my gosh, if AI is half as good as I'm seeing on like these people's posts or YouTube, I was like, I'm out of a job. Like data analysis, data science, other careers as well in the data space, not including a ton of others, are just like obsolete. We won't need them. So for several weeks, I was just really down in the dumps. I was like, I feel like if everything they're saying is true, like it's not good for me. But even more so than that, I had a feeling like people at the higher levels would be okay, which was where I'm at. I felt bad for my audience because I was like, my audience is a lot of people trying to break into tech, break into data analytics, data science, and all these things. That's who I was initially like. I was like, oh gosh. I was like, the people are just starting out right now. That's going to make it tougher. I feel like that's coming to fruition, although I still see a lot of. And actually, let me take a step back. I got out of that funk after I was like, I'm done speculating and being worried. I want to deep dive into this, like really dive in, test everything out, not just to make content on YouTube, which I eventually did, but also to be like, is this true or not? Like, are we really at this point in society where AI is going to take over everything and like we're going to have a huge crisis on our hands? So I really started digging into it, articles, testing different AI products, talking to experts in the field. After doing all of that, I really felt more at ease. As I got more hands on with it, as I tested things, as I talked to these people, I was like, okay, let's see where it's at now. And let's see where it's going to be in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. At the short end of the stick or the short time, I don't know how to say that, within the next three
Horizon, yeah.
years. I see it just being a really good tool. And even for some use cases that I found, because I've been using it quite a bit in my actual work, I find it to where I'm like, I actually don't want to use this. It's not helpful. It's not giving me what I want, and it's making me more frustrated. And so there were parts of my work where I didn't like using it at all. And then I started talking to other people, and they're like, yeah, that's the same. Like, I really don't like using it. It's actually making it harder for me to get my work done in some instances. Now, specifically with things like coding, it was definitely helping, especially with experienced people. But even then, I myself, when I'm getting to more complex things, it would refuse to do what I asked it to do. Like, not just ChatGPT, I would try it on Bard, I would try it on Bing, I tried on Claude 2. I was trying on everything. It refused to do what I want. It was something pretty complex. And I was like, I would type out the best description I possibly could give all the, columns, everything it needed, everything it could possibly want, and it could not give it to me. It was so frustrating. I eventually just wrote it myself, like some Neanderthal. And you know, that process of really having to dig into it gave me a much better appreciation for AI and what it can do and what it can't do. And so for me, my outlook in the next 3 years is it's just going to be a tool for the next several years. It's a good tool, but there's a lot of things that I just don't like about it. That in like a professional setting, I'm like, I don't like how it does this. I really don't. I really like this part of it. So I use it for that part.